All right, let's dive right in. Today we're going to get into something that, well, let's just say it's going to be interesting. It's
Definitely.
all about cats and
Cats.
specifically about their, well, licking.
Yeah.
You know how some folks find it a little,
Hecky.
yeah,
Yeah.
icky. But then there are those who are totally cool with it.
Totally.
So we dove into a bunch of comments from an online discussion. There's a lot to unpack about, like the whole ick factor and what's really going on when a cat decides to give you a good tongue bath.
Yeah.
So tell me, have you ever been on the receiving end of one of those sandpapery cat licks and wondered, like, why? What's the deal?
It's funny you should ask that because the discussion jumps right into that. And one commenter, Melanie Tannenbaum, even compares it to tissing someone who, doesn't floss enough.
Oh, yeah.
And she says, if you love someone, you kind of just accept certain things.
I can see that.
So maybe with cats, it's kind of the same. Like, is our tolerance for cat saliva really that different?
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
So is it all just personal preference,
Mhm.
or is there something more to it?
Well, there's definitely a valid hygiene concern to think about, right? Like
Right.
Shahida Easton points out the potential health risks, especially for folks who might have a weaker immune system.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's a good point. Cat saliva does have bacteria.
it's true. But as Arlene Jones pointed out, so does human saliva.
Right.
Like every time we kiss someone, we're swatting microbes.
Exactly.
So maybe it's not as simple as cat saliva is bad.
It really is all about perspective, right?
Totally.
And this is where it gets interesting because for a lot of cat owners, like Lita Rosetree, cat licking is a really meaningful gesture.
I can definitely see that.
It's like a sign of affection, trust, bonding.
I've always wondered, is there actually like a scientific reason for that warm, fuzzy feeling we get from cats?
Oh, there might be.
Really?
Some studies suggest that those close moments with our pets, like being licked, can trigger this release of oxytocin.
Oh, the love hormone.
Exactly. And it happens in both us and Dee, our furry friends, so there's a good chance that cat licking actually strengthens that bond, physiologically.
That's amazing. I had no idea there could be an actual hormonal connection there.
Right.
But going back to the hygiene thing for a sec, the discussion brought up a pretty funny debate.
Okay.
Are cats really cleaner than dogs?
Ooh, that's a classic.
Renee Jordan is on Team Cat, says they're always grooming themselves and unlike dogs, don't usually,
Eat poop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then Carmel Hill chimes in and says, hang on a sec. Cats use those tongues to clean their, well,
They're behinds.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe not as clean as we thought.
Right, and that's where things get a bit more nuanced.
Okay.
Because, yeah, cats are constantly grooming themselves, using their tongues to get rid of dirt and debris, but studies actually show that their tongues, they have those little barbs,
Yeah.
they actually act like tiny combs and can remove up to 45% of allergens.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So maybe that's why some people aren't as bothered by it.
It could be. I mean, those tongues are pretty efficient cleaning tools, but I get why some folks are still a little hesitant.
For sure.
And that's where individual preferences come in, and also how much risk someone's willing to take.
Right.
Louise Flora sees it as a treasured gift, but then Shahida Easton is like, nope, hard pass.
Yeah.
So everyone's got their own comfort level.
So what makes some people more okay with it than others?
Well, Gavin Jenkins talks about this idea of a cost-benefit analysis.
Okay.
Like, we're subconsciously weighing the risks of cat saliva against, the emotional reward of all that kitty love.
That makes sense.
And everyone's answer can be totally different. It depends on things like our childhood experiences with animals, our current health, even our culture.
Wow. So it's not just a simple ick or not.
Oh.
There's a lot going on, huh?
Yeah, it's a whole web of psychology, even physiology.
This is fascinating.
I know, right?
It sounds like there's still more to unpack, though.
Definitely. There is, and I think it's super important to remember that context matters a lot here.
Context. Like, what do you mean?
Well, first off, the cat's health is huge.
Okay.
I mean, a healthy cat with good dental hygiene, way less risky than one with a, dental infection or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if your kitty's getting those regular checkups and seems healthy, a little lick probably isn't a big deal.
Right.
But someone with a weaker immune system might want to be more careful about close contact, even if their cat seems perfectly fine.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
It's about knowing your own situation, not just deciding you're a cat person or not.
I like that.
And we also got to pay attention to our cat's behavior, like Louise Flora mentioned in the discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Is it gentle licking? Or is it rougher, like a grooming session? What triggers it?
You know what I've noticed? My cat tends to lick me more when I'm stressed out.
Interesting.
Like she knows I need some extra comfort or something.
That's fascinating. Cats are so perceptive, you know?
They are?
They pick up on our emotions, maybe even more than we realize.
It's true.
And they react in ways that, well, maybe not always the most hygienic from our point of view, but it feels so comforting.
I get it. So maybe that rough tongue isn't always so bad.
It really depends. And this is where understanding cat behavior comes in.
Okay.
Licking, in a grooming sense, is actually social for cats.
Okay.
They groom each other to bond and, figure out the whole social hierarchy thing.
Oh, so when my cat licks me, is she like putting me in my place?
Haha, not necessarily. But maybe she's trying to include you in her circle, in a way.
Okay.
Or, like you said, picking up on your stress and trying to soothe you. It's a mix of instinct and learned behavior. It's complicated.
So we've talked about hygiene, the emotional side, preferences, even a little cat psychology. What's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the most important thing is there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to this. Understanding why they do it from both a biological and behavioral standpoint that helps you make informed choices about your own interactions with your cat.
So it's about figuring out what works for you and your cat.
Exactly.
I love that.
Not about judging others or feeling pressured to fit in some cat person box.
Makes sense. I love that it's about finding that balance, you know, and respecting everyone's choices.
Absolutely.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the, well, sometimes sticky, sometimes heartwarming world of cat licking,
Yeah.
I got to ask you.
I think I know what's coming.
Go for it.
Does knowing all this change how you feel about those cat licks?
Haha, you got me. I'm honestly still a little on the fence.
That's fair.
But it's really interesting to think about it all in this new way.
And that's what we're going for, right?
Yeah.
Not changing minds, but just opening up new ways of looking at this common but often misunderstood behavior.
I like that.
For some folks, knowing it comes from affection, from instinct, that might make them more tolerant of those little sandpaper kisses. And for others, the hygiene thing might still be a deal breaker, and that's totally okay too.
Right.
It's all about being aware, making choices, and maybe even watching your own cat with this new understanding.
You know what? I think you've inspired me to pay more attention to those little things my cat does.
Oh, yeah.
The head bunts, the slow blinks, even the, insistent grooming.
That's like a whole secret language.
It is.
Yeah.
And it can tell us so much about what they're feeling, what they're trying to say.
Exactly.
I'm thinking we need another deep dive just on cat communication.
Ooh, I like it.
What do you think?
I'm always down to explore the mysteries of the feline mind. There's always something new to learn.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that wraps it up for our deep dive on cat licking.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
And remember, whether you're a total cat person or just starting to appreciate these amazing creatures, keep that curiosity going. And don't be afraid to get a little licked along the way.